5:47 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, May 21st, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I thank everybody who's tuning in, everybody who's showing up. We'll see how many people end up coming in for tonight's live. Mike, 1970 legend. Thank you both for tuning in. I appreciate seeing you both in here this evening already, as we do have quite a bit to discuss today. There's a lot of interesting stuff that's come out. We have to go over at some point during this live. We have some official documents here. Let me pull out X, as James K. Phelan came out earlier, and he gave us some information about the lawsuit and what's going on with what happened today. And we do have kind of what the SEC put into play here in the last 24 hours. So we've got the official documents. It's a 6-page document. And we can see exactly what's going on here. So we should read through that as we're going on through this live. I don't know how much of this reading we're going to get through. We had 3 billion XRP traded in 24 hours, which is incredible. That's a lot of tokens changing hands. Dirty Dozens, welcome in. You're welcome, friend. Mark Caston, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 2 months with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. Jorge, welcome in. I appreciate seeing you in here as well. Just make sure, everybody, when you do tune in, to hit that like button so YouTube recommends this live. It'll allow more people to find our community, whether they're new or older viewers. And basically, just by you hitting that like button, YouTube will recommend this video, and that'll pop up in people's news feeds as they're scrolling through YouTube. And we become part of the recommendations and end up in the analytics. So I appreciate everybody who does go above and beyond and hits that like button. JIOV, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XP589 Moon Badge. Wake up indeed. And thanks for being a mod, friend. Janthony, welcome in. Long time viewer. I'm glad to see that name in here still. Beautiful. UK Phil, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Meteor. True, good evening, brother. Hopefully you're doing well within your recovery here. Hopefully you're healing up great. A lot of action, at least in the market, for you the last few days. John Hall, good evening, brother. I hope you're having a blessed evening as always. As I watch my cat try to attack a bird. Ghost! Mike, you're welcome, Francis. Thank you for the update, Tom. I get the best news here. I appreciate the fact that you do tune in here and you like the news that you get here. I appreciate that. As we'll go through the charts, but obviously one of the first things I want to do is read these official documents, because we have to see what's going on. And there's a few pages that we can go over. I don't know if I'm going to go through all 6, but I have 4 of them here. But we definitely need to get on the same page there. So we'll do a little bit of technical analysis, as XRP is below a critical level here, down about 0.76%, 0.75% to 53.36. We really wanted to see a back test here on XRP. I wanted to see it. Our technical breakout was 537, and to confirm the technical target of 57.4 cent area, you needed to confirm it with the back test at 537, which it could still maintain, but right now it kind of looks like a head and shoulders pattern. And the problem with this is it might come all the way back down here to back test 515 and see if there's any strength left, but I would have preferred to see 537 hold. Now, it's not the end of the day yet, and I understand the close doesn't happen for 2 hours and 9 minutes, but be that as it may, XRP needs to do a hefty reversal here and get back above 537, create this W reversal here on the 15-day 200 moving average, and start pushing back up. So that's what we're looking at right now. We're going to see during this live if this does push and have a reversal here, or if it continues to traject down to the 51.7 cent area, or a little bit lower than that, 51.5 cents, as we are, you know, a little bit below where we wanted to get to. And what that could do is it could open up the door to a retest of that cup and handle support, but we still have a lot of room here. We've got a lot of room here. Cup and handle support's right around 51.4 cents. So as of right now, we completed a cup, short-term cup. Now if we can put in a bullish handle, this should shoot us up the rest of the way. And like I said yesterday, a lot of people would probably try to get into crypto after the run last night and today would be a red day, only because you need corrections. You need corrections. And I actually, I had some nice trades that panned out yesterday. Over 1K was made. So I ended up taking out some money out of crypto, out of my BITUNIX, and I dropped it down to just over $2,000, about $2,000, just over $2,000, as I took about $1,500 and put some in cash, put some where I needed to put it. I've got some savings I'm putting together for summer taxes, which is going to cost me like $4 to $5 grand. So I'm taking advantage of every opportunity I have to start putting in a little bit of a bankroll, so I don't have to touch my commodity stocks and stuff like that. Giovanni, welcome in. Everything's going good, my friend. My son's been doing great in school. Tomorrow he's got his follow-up from the hospital. He spent 4 nights in the hospital a couple weeks ago. He's seeing the pediatrician tomorrow just as a follow-up, you know, then standard operating procedure, do the weigh-in, make sure everything's going good since the release, and yada, yada, yada. So he probably won't appreciate that, but that's something we're doing at 8:30 a.m. bright and early tomorrow morning. And then back to school after that, is they have a petting zoo coming to the school tomorrow. So hopefully, you know, he'll be in a good mindset, and he'll want to go back for a couple hours. So everything's going good in that regard, though. Very, very good. You know how the doctors are when you take the kids. Parents don't want to go, kids don't want to go, but it's a necessity especially after you've been admitted to the hospital. That's something that, in the USA, it's just protocol. It's protocol, and if you don't do protocol, they'll call some people on you, and then it's going to be an even bigger mess. So you got to follow them in line. JW, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. And I'll shut up now because JW is, I can hear him. He's like, take it easy. CJ2 Pilot, thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Predictor. Tanya Love, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Nick Morales, welcome in. Good to see you in here, homie. Crypto Scrooge, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XP 589 Moon badge. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Everything's going good here. Had a difficult time about 2 weeks ago. But my son is doing a lot better. He got sick and he was throwing up for a couple days from a stomach virus or viral infection. And then from that, he ended up becoming dehydrated and lost his appetite. Went about 6 days without eating. Took him to the ER after urgent care a couple days earlier before that. And he ended up having to be, you know, on IVs and had to replenish his levels and stuff like that. So he was in the hospital for 4 nights. Just rehydrating. They kept him on IVs and stuff just to make sure. Did a whole bunch of tests, you know how they always do, and everything came back clean. They put him on vitamin D and a multivitamin, but besides that, no worse for the wear. I took advantage of the moment though, and I got him signed up because I want him to go into some food therapy because he's very picky and he needs some kind of food therapy so that he can expand his horizons. So we took advantage of that, and yeah, it's actually been a positive experience. He started 2 weeks ago in school now, and it's for developmentally delayed children who are on the spectrum. Well, he didn't test it for autism, but he's definitely on the spectrum, whether it's by accident or there's something more. We're thinking it's from the accident. He's a little behind. So he's got occupational therapy, speech, and physical therapy while he's at school. And it's a pretty cool program. He's been doing rather well with it. He gets a little emotional in the mornings, but when he gets there, he takes the teacher's hand, walks in, and he does great. It's just, you know. So I appreciate all the questions from everybody. He's doing rather well, and just blessed, very blessed. So we'll go over that. We'll go over Bitcoin. XRP Bitcoin pairing's up about 1.73% on the day. Nothing major, but it did reverse up a little bit. Right now I'm up like, I don't know, a couple percent right now. Nothing major, as I have over $4,000 in the XRP Bitcoin pair. It's below where it's at now, with everything I've put in. So I think it's up like 1.79 or 1.9, something like that. It was up 3.3% earlier, but it's come back down some. Then we'll look at Bitcoin. Obviously, it's down 1,687 points. It's going to be below 70,000, it looks like, for the close tonight, unless something changes in the next 2 hours. So, but I'll let everybody digest what's going to happen here as I play the intro. I've already done the time and everything, but I like to play the intro so we can gather our wits. Allow you to take a second, hit that like button so YouTube recommends this video. If you're looking to trade XRP in the USA or abroad, around the world, video description below and or pinned comments. There's BITUNIX. And then if you have the ability to use MEXC, it's also down there as well. That's for the XRP Bitcoin pairing, but new users in the USA as of right now are not allowed. So BITUNIX is the best option I have for everybody. Lowest spot and leverage trading fees in the USA. You don't need to do a KYC unless it's from bank account to bank account. And then lowest, you're going to save a bunch of money swing trading or just trading as a whole. So take advantage of that. And I will catch everybody on the other side of the official intro. So I do appreciate everybody for tuning in. We've got 63 people here who decided to stick it out. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to do this first. We're going to get through some of the reading. Sean Crothers, welcome to Main Man from Maine. I appreciate seeing you tuning in. Thank you, Crypto Scrooge. Yes, it's a true relief to see my son doing a lot better now. It's great to see. It's great to see. Tommy will be okay. Happy to hear he is doing well, Tom and Julie. Yes, Tanya. Yes, love. He's doing very well. Very well. Daniel, Mr. Carter, I'm glad you put this. I seen this in the comments, but I didn't know how to comment back in such a way to where it would make relevance. I could see it going down to 48 to 50 cents. It's really going to depend on this consolidation right now. It's going to depend on if we did in fact lose 53.7 and if 51.5 cents is willing to give way again. If that happens, it's going to be shorter rather than later that we're going to see that again. Hamza, welcome in, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 2 months with the Dusty.House Crypto News. I appreciate that you love the show. I really do. I'm going to smoke the relaxation while we're reading this because it's going to be a hefty bit of reading. So be prepared. So, this is official document number 966 filed May 20th, 2024. So, dear Judge Torres, the SEC does not... All right, so we'll do this. We'll do this. Thank you, Mr. Carter. I really appreciate that. Frenchie Millions, welcome in. Melomania, Rick, thank goodness for all of you being here. And thank you, Rick, about my son. Crawbillies, welcome in. Really love seeing everybody who decided to tune in today. I know it's not the sexiest time in the market to be around. But where else are you going to get this information? Unless you're committed, dedicated, and consistency will breed your response. The consistency of maintaining what you're trying to do will continue to allow you to be dedicated to your craft just by simply showing up. And then you see results, and then it makes you want to show up so you don't lose the results. So dear Judge Torres, Plaintiff Securities and Exchange Commission opposes, in part, defendant Ripple Labs Inc.'s Ripple letter motion to seal and redact evidence related to the parties' briefing on remedies. Has anybody seen this out of curiosity? And thank you for over 100% of you hitting the like button already. The SEC does not oppose Ripple's request to seal 5 exhibits at issue in their entirety, and many of its proposed redactions for the purpose of remedies briefing, but in seeking certain redactions of highly relevant information in the parties' briefs and declarations and exhibits filed in support of the briefs, Ripple fails to overcome the strong presumption that court filings should be public. The common law right of public access to judicial documents is firmly rooted in our nation's history. The material at issue is fundamental to the rationale behind the SEC's request remedies. I've made the most uplifting XRP flip the switch video on my channel. Ooh, I'll have to take a look at that. Hey, Melomania, share a link in the chat below. Since you didn't just share it without saying anything, share your link so we're able to find your channel, please. The material at issue is fundamental to rationalize behind the SEC's requested remedies and its briefing and publicly posted statements. Ripple invites the public to form opinions about the merits of the SEC's positions. It cannot simultaneously hide from them the evidence on which that position is based, nor do Ripple's conclusory statements of supposed harm suffice to carry Ripple's burden to show. Exceptional circumstances justifying sealings or the redacting, particularly given that much of the evidence is stale or public. Ripple's repeatedly points to the SEC's earlier sealing and redactions positions in this court's decision in the earlier stages of this litigation to justify its request here. But Ripple fails to acknowledge three key differences. First, the court's prior holdings ruled as to redactions in the context of specific filings, not for the rest of the case. Information is not central to the court's liability decisions. A summary judgment, including the financial information and offering terms Ripple seeks to seal, is now at the crux of the remedies decision. Second, Ripple has now been adjudicated to have sold, or adjudicated to have sold investment contracts without registering these sales or making the disclosures required to do so. Yet Ripple persists in trying to conceal the very information that is legally would have had to disclose to sell those securities. And third, more years have elapsed since the court made those prior rulings. Let's go to the next page. The court sealings and redacting rendering even more stale much of the business information Ripple still wants to conceal. And I know a lot of people leave when I read this kind of stuff, but if you're a holder of XRP, if you're a fan of what Ripple has to do in the future, you damn well better make sure you see this information. And this isn't some secondhand information. This isn't us reading it from somebody who's typing it out and we're trying to find the right information. This is the official documents, period. Mr. Carter, welcome in. Hashtag mother second choice. Mr. Tony Carter tuning in somewhere from the Outback. Thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XP 589 Moon Badge. Greatly appreciate that. So Ripple cannot meet its burden to overcome the strong presumption of public access. Ripple's redaction and sealing requests would hide from the public information central to the court's determination of remedies. There's a lot of juicy information. There's a lot of juicy information here. As you can see, my tablet was just doing backflips. It was so excited about this information. No joke. Just doing backflips. It even flipped us to page 3. So, A, Ripple's redaction and sealing requests would hide from public information central to the court's determination of remedies. The court should deny Ripple's request to conceal financial and security sales information because that information constitutes judicial documents, as it is at the heart of the arguments the parties have presented in support of their remedies motions and could therefore tend to influence court's remedies decision. Judicial documents are relevant to the performance of the judicial function and useful in the judicial process. An adjudication in a formal act of government, the basis of which should, absent exceptional circumstances, be subject to public scrutiny. Unrestricted access to exhibits filed in support of motions is particularly important when the court's ruling will likely be based solely on the motion's papers. Transparency is critical in enforcement actions by the SEC, particularly those attracting public attention. Public action by Department of Justice triggered First Amendment right of access requiring stronger access protections. Presumption stronger in cases of public concern. The SEC does not challenge the sealing of Ripple's recent financial statements as a whole, but where financial figures or specific terms of contracts have been used by the parties to calculate and justify remedy requests, that information should be made public. And here the need for public transparency is not some abstract principle. The general deterrence of a civil penalty rests on the public's understanding of the facts supporting the penalty amount. SEC civil penalties are designed to affect general deterrence and to make misconduct a money-losing proposition. If the public cannot see how the remedies requested in order to compare to Ripple's actual financial information, general deterrence will be significantly undermined, nor can the public fully evaluate for itself the merits of the parties. Competing positions, even though Ripple persistently invites the public to do so. Tweets of Ripple's chief executive and chief legal officers while exercising its First Amendment's right to speak about the remedies briefing. Ripple concurrently requests to deny others their own First Amendment right of access to information at the heart of the pending issue. And that is a no-no. That's something we talk about. If they're trying to seal a bunch of stuff, you can't come out and say you want this stuff redacted, this stuff sealed, this stuff off the record, but then put it on the record yourself to kind of try to front run what the SEC is going to say. See, if you're going to do that, you can't play both sides of the coin. You know, that's like, no, you can't do it. So that's where they get themselves into a little trouble. So this is several years worth of information here that we're finally getting to read what's actually going on and what the actual issue is right now. So Ripple tries to dodge this strong, dodge this strong presumptive right of access by proclaiming that the information Ripple seeks to conceal from the public is irrelevant. But the SEC has limited its sealing and redactions objections to the information that will be important to the court's determinations. Once an item is deemed relevant to the exercise of judicial power, the weight to be given, the presumption of access, must be governed by the role of the material at issue in the exercise of Article 3 judicial power and the resultant value of such information to those monitoring the federal courts. This information concludes the amount of Ripple's current assets relevant to penalty amount of recent sales, injunctive relief and penalties, revenues and expenses, disgorgement, and the size of discounts amount of investor harm. This is everything I would want to see. I'm not mad that they won't let Ripple get rid of this. I want to see this. I'm an investor. I want to see this. You got all your stuff ready, Michaela? Okay, perfect. This is page 3, so hopefully everybody is seeing what's going on here. Seeing is believing. Reading is seeing it, reading it, absorbing it, and understanding that these are the official documents. This is where it's at. Marvin, welcome in, my friend. I'm so glad to see you in here. Kiana, good evening. MEXC EFT is XRP IPO and finally court. We'll see. We'll see. As we've seen, Ethereum had a big pump of about 25% or 27%, maybe even more, like 33%, in anticipation of whether it was a leak by falseness, but there was a big leak that claimed in the next couple days here that Ethereum ETF would be approved. I don't believe it till I see it, as they're also being looked at by the SEC for unregistered securities sales, but I'll believe that when I see it as well, as they have a backroom deal with Ethereum and, well, I'm not going to get into it. So not only reasonably have the tendencies to influence the court's ruling, they are at the core of the parties' competing arguments, including Ripple's own calculations. Discounts relative to post-complaint sales relative to fifth Carnahan factor, discounts relevant to investor harm, financial conditions relative to penalties, Ripple's accounting witness relying on Ripple's financial statements, Ripple relying on its financial condition and total revenues. Ripple does not try to explain why these figures are irrelevant, nor could it. How else would the court determine Ripple's net profits without the financial information showing Ripple's gains and expenses? Unsurprisingly, Ripple does not cite a single court decision sealing financial information supporting an SEC remedies determination. I told you the SEC was going to try to go hard against Ripple and their retaliation, their omnibus. Ripple has failed to show exceptional circumstances warranting sealing. 1. Ripple's conclusory statements of harm and insufficient. Since the documents at issue are plainly judicial, documents to which the strong presumption of access attaches, Ripple must show exceptional circumstances to justify sealings. This can only occur with specific on-the-record findings that sealing is necessary to preserve higher values and only if the sealing order is narrowly tailored to achieve that aim. Conclusory statements that documents contain confidential business information cannot justify sealing. Rather, the moving party must make a particular and specific demonstration of fact showing that disclosure would result in an injury sufficiently serious to warrant protection. Citation omitted. Ripple has not made a particular and specific demonstration of fact showing why disclosure of financial and offering information mostly outdated that should have been disclosed to the public or to the investing public or otherwise publicly available information would result in substantial injury warranting protection. All Ripple offers to show is its need to redact this historical financial information is that it is a private company that does not disclose this information to third parties. And that was in ECF 964, so that was another official document. This is circular reasoning akin to stating that the information should not be revealed because it has not been revealed. From that conclusionary statement, Ripple extrapolates that public disclosure would be highly detrimental to Ripple's business because it would reveal detailed information about Ripple's financial conditions, long-term business plans, and revenue streams and expense structure to the marketplace. All the evidence of harm Ripple offers to justify its sealing and redaction request is two sentences of assertions from Ripple's chief financial officer. Bye, Michaela. Be safe, Julie. Is T's door still closed? Okay. What was Ripple financial Ripple financial officer. Ripple's CFO offers that public disclosure of Ripple's financial information would be highly detrimental to Ripple's business because it would reveal that financial information to Ripple's competitors, business partners, customers, and the public. Ripple offers no real evidence. CJ2 Pilot, thank you so much for the $4.99 donation. No pressure, but if anybody wants to join me, I wanted to make a donation for Tom's sons. Hold on, I'll finish reading that. Ripple also to justify its sealing and redaction request. Okay, detriment of the business. Ripple's competitors, business partners, but blah, blah, blah. Ripple offers no real evidence, no details of how this harm would occur or its extent. For Tom's son's healthcare, hospitals aren't cheap. No, it's definitely not. There was definitely, it definitely racked up a, I'm not going to talk about it. Racked up a little bit of a bill, though. We'll just call it for what it is. Healthcare is not what it used to be in the USA, and there's big deductibles now. More than I can ever remember, especially for kids. So I do appreciate that, that mindset, my friend. Thank you, CJ2 Pilot, for that $4.99 donation. First donation of the night. I greatly appreciate that. But let's continue the reading. A lot of important information here. A lot of important information. And hopefully, this is hitting the right tune with everybody, because this is the kind of information we need to read. I'm an investor. I want to know what the hell's going on. Period. Good, bad, or indifferent. So here's where I want to start again. But Ripple offers no real evidence, no details of how this harm would occur or its extent, and fails to identify a competitor that would exploit this information or offer any other detailed justification to meet its burden. To the contrary, Ripple elsewhere casts its ODL product as being very specific to XRP. And Ripple is the only party that holds or sells XRP like Ripple does. Moreover, the declaration from Ripple's CFO, which is his chief financial officer, for anybody wondering what CFO means, and ODL, for anybody wondering, I should have said this before, is on-demand liquidity, reveals that Ripple distributes its financial information whenever it suits it, including, and this is the last page here for these official documents, unless, well, we're going to read 5 and 6. What am I talking about? We got 3 more pages, so sit back and relax. Prospective investors and major vendors, these generic self-serving statements cannot justify the substantial presumption of public access to the courts and the litigants' process. 2, most of the evidence at issue is stale. Ripple is particularly unable to overcome the strong presumption of access with conclusory assertions about information that is old and stale. Stale business records cannot support the necessary findings of harm. Ripple seeks to redact information about its revenues and expenses dating back 10 years to 2014, but makes no effort to explain specifically how the disclosure of revenue and expense figures from its aged audited financial statements would cause it harm in 2024. For example, it provides no facts to establish that disclosing its aggregate cost of revenue for XRP from 2015 would cause it actual harm today. Findings that the party had not come forward with specific facts showing that disclosure of the specific facts that is charged would tend to be damaging now 7 to 14 years after the fact. And that was SDNY from 2009 that was something that was in record. The same is true for Ripple's aged securities offerings and sales information. Ripple wants to hide the extent to which it's offered XRP at discriminatory prices. And this is what I want to see, damn it. This is the exact part that I'm glad the SEC is hammering home. I want to see what institutional investors are paying. I want to see what off of the exchanges and the back deals. I want to see what they're charging them for from escrow. I want to see when they take a couple million XRP out and they're selling it. I want to know what they're selling it for, damn it. I want to see it, but if they do show it, it could be dangerous. Don't you want to know too, as an XRP holder, the difference in price from what we're paying and what they're paying behind closed doors? I want to know. It's something that I have not been able to get a straight answer in any readings, anything I've ever watched, anything I've ever heard. I've never been able to get a straight answer from that perspective. Hey, Mr. Carter, thank you so much for the $10 donation. First YouTube super chat. Been in Tom's Army for a very long time. Very long time. But guys, I want to know. Giovanni, it is a true double-edged sword because it could cause 99% of people to sell if they seen the actual reality. So, you know, so it could be. So, let's see. So, let's see. See, this is what I want to see, though. This is what I want to see. All right, we'll read this again right here. Indeed, the contracts at issue are not ODL contracts. So Ripple seeks to avoid remedies by claiming it has changed the way it sells XRP and changed its contracts. Indeed, the contracts at issue are not ODL contracts. The only type of institutional sales contracts Ripple claims it enters into today. Stating that all of Ripple's sales of XRP are now ODL sales, stating that none of Ripple's current contracts contain lockups, the redactions the SEC opposed thus do not reveal long-term business plans of any kind. Ripple's remedies brief its request to seal in another way. It argues that the disclosure of the large discount Ripple offered certain investors would not have caused other investors to negotiate for better pricing. The hell it wouldn't! The hell it wouldn't! If we knew that they were getting 50% off behind the scenes, you think we'd be willing to pay the actual price we were on the exchanges? You're not a damn chance we would. If we know they're getting better deals behind the scenes, there's no point of us investing until it's at that price. Otherwise, it's just going to come down to it anyhow with the trading bots. Yet in its motion to seal, Ripple takes the opposition position, arguing that negotiating position with future counterparties, not mod at 4, Ripple's current position here is ultimately half right. Pricing and discounts impact investor conduct and decision making, and making and pricing disclosure truly matters. In contrast, Ripple has not shown how old discounts would cause substantial harm, especially when it claims it has not offered discounts in years. By contrast, the SEC opposes the redaction of very little contemporary financial information, objecting only to the redactions of I, the amount of Ripple's current assets, II, the revenue from post-complaint ODL sales of XRP, and III, the revenue from non-XRP sales, as discussed above. All these data points are key factors in the court's adjudication of Ripple's penalty and injunctive. 2. Ripple's remedies brief claims that it has materially changed the way it sells XRP, so it should not be enjoined. The SEC has shown the falsity, of this contention. Here Ripple argues the opposite, that the terms of its contract, where it offered and sold investment contracts, would reveal the confidential terms of its sales today. Ripple cannot have it both ways, and the contradiction illustrates the disingenuity of its position. Page 5. Relief. The numbers themselves are not that sensitive, and Ripple has not set forth particular facts establishing what injury Ripple would suffer if the public knew them, or any exceptional circumstances why the information should be hidden from the public. 3. Some of the evidence at issue is public. Finally, there is no justification for keeping information that has already been public under seal. Ripple asked to seal the identity of certain investors, business partners, and certain email addresses. It asserts that the counterparty names are not already in the public realm. But for those business partner names where the SEC opposes redactions, there have been public announcements and press release and online news articles. This is what I mean. When they put it out themselves and they don't want that information public, but they've already made it public, you sound like a jackass. And they're back in the, some of this isn't good. Some of this makes them look like they're contradicting themselves, and it makes them look like hypocrites, and you don't want that. But for those business partners, blah, 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 Substantial information regarding a business relationship has been made public. Redacting is not justified. That's what I mean. Denying requests to seal supplier identity where details about relationships were public. Likewise, the SEC opposes redacting Ripple email addresses of general Ripple mailboxes that do not identify employee names. 2 of these 3 email addresses have been made public, and there is no showing that any harm would occur from revealing these generic addresses. Welcome in, Mario Louise Willamese. Glad to see you in here, friend. Wales, Josie Wales, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Meteor. Similarly, Ripple has already disclosed much of the amounts of XRP it has sold post-complaint. XRP Markets Report dated April 27, 2023, which we read live on air through the Markets Report last year. Over 1 year ago now. It's crazy how fast time goes indeed. The information in the briefs is just the amount of those sales aggregated and expressed in dollars, which anyone could approximate by consulting publicly available XRP pricing. 2, Ripple's reliance on past selling motion practice is unavailing. Ripple places much weight on the fact that the court has granted, or that the SEC has not opposed requests to seal similar information. See, that's not the right way to do it. They're giving so much ammo. It's embarrassing, actually. They spent how much money on this case? Why giving so much ammo? Man, oh man. But past sealing rulings are not dispositive, and Ripple ignores 3 critical distinctions that warrant a different outcome. A poo-poos? Man, he's pooping like a storm. All that colon poo-poos is gone. Let's see. First, the weight of the presumption of access is not the same at each stage of litigation. Accordingly, the court's prior sealing determinations were made in the specific context of the information relevant to the outcome of particular motions, such as Daubert motions. The court thus explained that a sealing order in one context did not mean that the material should be sealed in another. Relatedly, information that is at the heart of the remedies motion was not central to prior motions. For example, the SEC did not oppose sealing the terms of discounts in connection with the motion for summary judgment, and the court granted sealing, but there was no argument that the SEC also opposed the redactions of the standard bill rates for the firm of Ripple's Accounting. Witness: Anthony Bracco. Ripple has proffered, or proffered, I don't fucking know anymore. Mr. Bracco as an expert. Has offered Mr. Bracco as an expert. Requires experts disclose their compensation for a court to evaluate bias if any injury unlikely would occur from the disclosure. It is far outweighed by the public's right to access and understand Mr. Bracco's bias. Ripple has not previously sought to redact its experts' bill rates. And this is page 6. Rather than the existence of the discounts was central to how we issue. Vincent Ortega, welcome in, and thank you so much for being in Tom's Army for 2 months with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. I would love to see a month 1 member. I would love to see a month 1 member with me being abducted by aliens, but we have not seen one in a while. But it's good to see the ones continuing on. Let's see. John, thank you so much for being in Tom's Army for 6 months with the XRP Meteor. Great continued. I appreciate that. I'll try to finish reading that if I can see it again. Here, by contrast, the amounts of the post-complaint sales, the amount of the pre-complaint XRP discounts, and Ripple's financial conditions are all at the very core of what is in dispute. Includes the likelihood of repetition, investor harm, and the need for deterrence. The court's prior sealing ruling specifically recognized that Ripple's proposed redactions of reference the financial information in the parties' briefing materials are overbroad. The same principle applies here. Second, the court has now found that Ripple should have registered its institutional sales. That means Ripple should have publicly disclosed the financial information and pricing it now seeks to conceal, as noted in the SEC's remedies brief. Schedule A of the Securities Act details some of the information required when publicly offering securities. It mandates the disclosure of 32 categories of information in a registration statement, including an audited balance sheet showing the assets and liabilities of the issuer. II, 3 years of audited profit and loss statement, and III, offering information such as estimated net proceeds, pricing and discounts, expenses, and the details of prior offerings. Ripple is petitioning the court to hide from the public financial and sales information falling into these categories. Ripple cannot claim injury in disclosing information it was required by law to disclose. Multiple times, Ripple claims it is a private company and invokes case quotations about private companies, but Ripple is not private as it claims to be, and its protestation show that it does not acknowledge the import of this court's summary judgment ruling. Ripple has publicly offered and sold securities. By doing so, it has traded its privacy interest in the information required to be disclosed by the securities law for the ability to publicly raise money. When a company makes that choice, Congress has deemed the disclosure of that information to be the public's interest. I don't see anything wrong with that. Thus, disclosure here is compelled not just by the constitutional presumptive right of access to judicial documents, but also by the congressional mandate for public access to this information. The court need look no further than its own finding that Ripple violated Section 5 to reject its request to redact financial and offering information Ripple was required to disclose. Third and lastly, some of the information at issue has become even more stale than it was when the court ruled in 2021, 2022, or 2023 that it was properly redactable. The added staleness of this information in light of Ripple's claim that it has changed its business practices further distinguishes prior sealing motion practice. For these reasons, the SEC asked this court to deny in part Ripple's letter motion to seal and redact and reject the sealing and redactions opposed by the SEC. Respectively submitted, PBM, Peter Brian Moores. So that's what's going on. Yep. The bottom line is the very end of that is just bullshit because obviously don't have an IPO. So how exactly did they go from private to public? That's very interesting because until you do go through an IPO, you're technically still a private company. But you know, they'll say anything they want, but I agree with that. There's a lot wrong with the end of that. And then I know we did a lot of reading and we're already 42 minutes in. Holy hell. It absolutely can be turned on the SEC. I don't think any of that's great for the SEC. I was just pointing out a few things that I would like to know and what could hurt XRP or Ripple. But that doesn't look strong for the SEC. Like, none of that there would make me be like, okay. None of that scares me, what I was reading. Actually, I should probably read this. Because this kind of goes in part because of what we just read. So, Ripple versus SEC. Analyst Bill Morgan exposes SEC flaws in XRP lawsuit. So today you guys are going to see more reading than technical analysis, as we only did about 7 to 8 minutes of technical analysis so far. See, I don't always do things the same. In fact, I'm switching sometimes depending on the information. So, let's see. So, legal expert Bill Morgan didn't mince words in criticizing the SEC's latest move. Taking to social media, he not only slammed the SEC stance, but also pinpointed glaring inconsistencies of their arguments, especially regarding Ripple's on-demand liquidity ODL contracts. You see why I decided to read this after we went through the 6 pages of the official document, so now you can understand. It's so much nicer to have all the information so you can, now you know what Bill Morgan's talking about. According to Morgan, the SEC's claim that none of the discounted sales to institutions were ODL contracts was a significant misstep. R4 Liberty, thank you so much for the $10 donation. Thank you so much for that. Wow, that's the third donation of this live. That's incredible. Certainly was not expecting any donations. I don't even think I brought up donations at all, as I have a bad habit of not talking about it lately. I really appreciate that. I'll finish reading what you said in just a second when it comes back on the screen. He clarified that ODL contracts require customers to buy XRP at prevailing market rates, using it in transactions instead of just holding it as an investment. The difference strikes at the core of the SEC's argument that Ripple's institutional contracts should be seen as investments. Upholding transparency, the SEC's rebuttal to Ripple's motion focuses on the principles of public interest and transparency, stressing the historical importance of public access to judicial documents. The SEC cited legal precedents to support its stance. That was not a good move by the SEC. That was a misstep because I'll continue reading. The common law right of public access to judicial documents is firmly rooted in our nation's history. The SEC argued that the financial information Ripple seeks to redact is essential to the court's determination of appropriate remedies. This includes data on Ripple's current assets, sales, revenues, expenses, and investor discounts. But Ripple continues pushing back. Ripple's defense, however, faced skepticism from the SEC. The agency dismissed Ripple's arguments as mere speculation, lacking substantial evidence. As we all know about this, we all know about that. Morgan highlighted how the SEC admitted none of the discounted sales to institutions involved in ODL contracts. This distinction is important because it fits exactly with the SEC's admission that ODL contracts do not have the features that made other institutional buyer contracts, investment contracts, as summarized by Judge Therese. In the summary judgment, the ODL contracts require ODL customers to purchase XRP at market prices and to use the XRP in ODL transactions and agree to not hold them as investments. It remains a mystery why Judge Therese lumped them in with the other contracts with institutions. Predict the outcome, blah, blah, blah. So, what do you guys think? Oh, and then one more thing, because I thought this was fascinating. How many XRP moved? So, 3 billion XRP in 24 hours as price jumped 6%. Here's what happened. The market is in a frenzy, blah, blah, blah. So, 3 billion XRP shuffle. With the revived market, XRP has recorded a major jump in several of its key metrics, including trading volume. At the time of writing, the trading volume had jumped by a whopping 121% to $1,666,168,987. By this count, it means a total of 3,085,815,960 XRP has been traded in the past 24 hours. This number is quite impressive, as it shows that XRP has enough liquidity to serve growing market demand across the biggest exchanges. This access to liquidity is important for XRP's price to get to its long-targeted level of $1. When demand is boosted and there is XRP liquidity to match it, the market's balance is sustained and price action can take its natural course. XRP has benefited both. K4 Liberty said, pick up some more Bitcoin XRP. I will, friend. I will buy more today just for you at the XRP Bitcoin pairing, and I've been buying it every day. And today we were up just a tiny bit. Tiny bit. Oh yeah, it's all about the liquidity. It is all, at the end of the day, it's all about the liquidity. I talk about liquidity all the time. Let's see. Right now, we're almost back to even right now. We're only up 0.4, well, I'm up 0.47%. I have $4,193 in. It's worth $4,207. That's how much money I have in, so there's no reason to ask. I tell everybody during the lives what I do. I like to be more open and honest during the lives because you're giving me your time. I think it's different when you give me your time during the live because you're listening. During the updates, it's one thing, but during the live, it's more time. So when demand is boosted and there is XRP liquidity to match it, the market's balance is sustained and price action can take its natural course. XRP has benefited from both whale action and Ripple's escrow intervention in recent times. The market was in its long-drawn consolidation phase until the trend shifted yesterday, following news that the approval odds for the spot Ethereum ETF have jumped from 25% to 75%, without envisioning this 180-degree turnaround. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has now opened communications with key Ethereum ETF applicants in a move that might lead to the approval of the product. Notably, the Ethereum ETF sentiment is driving market sentiment, and XRP is positively riding the wave. So I can't believe we went through all of that reading. It only took us 40 minutes. Took us about 40 minutes to get through all that reading, but it was worth it. I needed to. Bitcoin is back over 70K. So Bitcoin back over 70K, that's a bullish proposition. XRP at a key level, ladies and gentlemen. Remember what we said when the live started. We need to get back above 53.77, but more importantly, that first step was to be reversed right now. So getting back to 53.50, this looks like a reversal is in place. This looks like a reversal. Ladies and gentlemen, this looks like a reversal, and I'm going to tell you right now, if you were to take a leverage trade here and try to get ahead of it, getting back to 537, you cannot hold it long. This is actually a beautiful spot here. If you're a leverage trader and you're looking for a cheap opportunity with minimal downside, right now, if you get in, it's got a 0.63% downside. So if you have a 10x trade, that's 6.3%. So that's 63 bucks on 1,000 is your risk. If you do a 20x trade, that's $126 risk on a 20x trade on 1,000 bucks. If you do a straight trade and you do $2,000, let's just say, you're literally talking about a $13 risk. This is actually the spots that I like to try to take advantage of, and there very well could be a W reversal playing out here. Now, obviously, this could break down. These are just a risk. These are just spots where I like to seek opportunity. When they fall like this and they look like bear flags, but they're bull flags within a bear flag, I like it. And this might just mean it's coming to 537 or 5377 to retest, but that looks nice. Does anybody else see what I'm seeing there? That could be something. That could be something. This could have been our liquidity strike. Now we should come down and tease a little bit. This should tease a little bit and come down here. I can't tell you how far, but it should tease this liquidity candle and then maybe find its way somewhere and settle in somewhere down here around 534 maybe. But this is a very, very interesting moment right now for XRP. This could very well rotate back up. But if it breaks through this, we're going to come down farther. This is risk reward right here. I'm hoping it bounces back up, to be honest. But we'll watch this as it finishes playing out here, as we still have about 8 minutes left in this live. With the XRP Bitcoin pairing, it's up 1.6 or 1.3% to the 762 sat level. As I was saying, I'm up about, what was it? Not much now, about 0.3% roughly. Which it doesn't matter to me how much it's up until it moves. The move is all I care about. The move. So we talked about a potential break to the top side, and it pushed much farther up, and then pushed back through. We were unable to hold the back test as of right now at 769, but we definitely had a nice recovery. We had a nice cup and handle or inverse head and shoulders, and we're back testing that right now. So it does make sense for it to back test down here. I understand it came back through that descending formation, this descending triangle. But now what we can do is now you have your expansion zone. We really like the expansion zone in this community. And what that means is when you had a breakout attempt, it gives you kind of a pattern that it's telling you, hey, this is what we're in now. And that's the resistance. We can still use the support as is. But that's what we're in now. That's your expansion. If you get over that, that would be the confirmation of a breakout. So it's kind of nice to see it set up, but at the same time, we need this W to play out properly. So I'm still optimistic. Still very optimistic on the XRP Bitcoin pairing. But I would like to see XRP at 537. If XRP can close over 537, and I understand it's just a number, but that's such a big back test, and that's what I was calling for yesterday. We just didn't know if we were going to get all the way to 57 or not first. Now, it did come up short of 57, so if this rally were to get defeated, I missed that call by 1.27 cents from 48 cent area. I kept saying I think it's going to get to 57 and possibly 64. So would that make me wrong? Maybe. Maybe that would make me wrong, but you know, I thought it was going to come up to 57, and right now it's come up just a little bit short. So we'll see if it continues up there. And I still thought there was a chance at 64. We knew it was coming up to 53.4. I didn't think that was an issue, but I really thought it was going to get to 57. I thought it would come up there for that overwhelming rejection if it needed a rejection. I really did on this ascending formation, so I don't think we're done yet. I think this is more bull flaggy, and there's a chance that this can play up still. We have a golden cross here in the 4 hour that's going unnoticed, understandably, but that's a bullish continuation confirmation. So we'll see. We'll see exactly how this plays out. I'm not ready to give up here yet. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Bitcoin trying to show a test of support here. I know we're down 1.89%, but we were down to 69,200 area. To pull back better than 800 points. It might have even been a little bit lower than that. 69,128. So we pulled back better than 1,000 points almost. That's an impressive feat here. That's impressive. I would never give up. I'm saying I'm not even close to giving up. It's a sign of unity, my friend. It's a confidence thing. I like to say it so everybody can hear it, and so I can hear it. Hey, I've been doing this every day for, let's see, 38 months straight, and I haven't taken a single day off. There's a reason why. I believe in what I do, and I believe in all of you. It's that simple. It is that simple. Hey, Tom, apparently the SC versus Ripple meeting tomorrow is canceled. Is it this normally to cancel a scheduled court meeting in the U.S. unless they already settled? It's not that it's not the norm, but I see it two ways. One, yes, there's the possibility that there could be a settlement, and I'm sure some people will run with it. Or two, because the SEC put in such a strong counter argument, it could just be the case that the court deemed it necessary that they needed to go over and actually weigh these options. They need to weigh what actually came in and to see what actually is going to be redacted and what is going to be sealed and what's going to be released to the public. So, I don't know. I could see it being two different ways. It's not the norm, but it's not uncommon. In the USA, it's actually quite more common than many might think. But that's what I get out of it. There's only two ways that I see it. One, sure, a settlement, and that would be what I would love to see. And like I said, at first I wasn't wanting a settlement back in 21, but my eyes opened so much. If there's a settlement, every other crypto's in trouble, except for anything attached to the XRP ledger and XRP itself. So, and the reason I say the XRP ledger is the SC would have some stones to attack the XRP ledger after they just got their ass handed to them and lost to Ripple. And the XRP ledger and XRP, right? So I could see it being a monumental flow of liquidity into XRP. That's also a reason why it would be a dream scenario with the Ripple stablecoin, whatever they're going to call it. But Ripple, stable Ripple, we'll call it. So with the stable Ripple, the fact they didn't just put it on the ledger, they put it within the Ethereum network or the Ethereum ecosystem. Imagine if Ethereum ends up being ruled as security, or at least it comes out like that. Imagine all that liquidity that would come through, right? By stable Ripple, or coming through the Ripple stables, however the hell you want to call it, the stable Ripple, or stay rip, right? The stay rip token. That's why I say there could be some 6D chess there. And that's some pretty deep chess being played. Man, it's hot out here. Oh! Man, man, that was probably a stupid idea. That was cold. But for being only May 20th or 21st, it's hot. It is hot. I didn't even get a winner. We barely got a winner. We barely got a winter this year, and it's 88 degrees already here. It's 88 friggin' degrees here, and it's May 21st. 88 degrees. The XRP Future Millionaire, for disclosure, does not like anything over 70 degrees. I do not. So, but now XRP's making its push here. Trying to get over that 53.70. You know, that really was a good spot to make a swing trade. Because it was only a 0.6% risk. I'm going to evaluate it when I go back inside and see if I want to open up a further one. But we're trying to make our way back to 53.7 cents. This is fantastic to see. But everybody, I'm going to have to get going here. Julie's got to take the little one back to their dad's. And I got to go back inside and watch my son. So have a blessed evening, everybody. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll catch you tomorrow during the live. It's been an honor and a privilege as always. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much. 97 degrees in San Antonio. My God. Have a blessed evening, everybody.